Rush on nicotine patches in jail.
Yeah, the government's finally biting the bullet and banning smoking in prison. WA and the ACT are the only jurisdictions that allow smoking in jail at the moment. The ladies are the first to be forced to quit. The sale of tobacco ends at Bandyup Women's Prison on October 31.
Why the women first?
Maybe prison bosses think they'll be less likely to riot. More than 80% of inmates at Bandyup smoke. On the 31st of October, 161 angry women are going cold turkey. And the 5,000 smokers in the 17 other detention facilities that .WA will be stubbing out in coming months and years.
Bring me another nicotine patch.
That's a lot of people getting irritable.
Yeah, and we don't know how they're going to react. Well, we have a fair idea how they'll react.
It's riot time!
The threat of wholesale rioting is the reason we've continued to let our prisoners light up. It should have ended years ago, and not for public health reasons, for industrial relations reasons. We've been willingly exposing prison staff to passive smoke.
Oh, the man is so rude.
WorkSafe warned the department about this in 2014. Joe Francis was minister at the time. He kicked the can down the road to Fran Logan, who kicked it to Bill Johnson, who actually had the guts to own the problem.
So it's on Bill's head if it goes pear-shaped.
He probably figures that one more drama isn't going to make that much difference at the moment. He would also know that there's only been one documented riot that coincided with the smoking ban. That was in Melbourne in 2015. Plus, Bill's not so naive to think people won't smoke in jail. They just won't be able to buy it at the canteen. Tobacco will join the long list of contraband that enters the jail system inside someone else's ass.
All right. Go sit on the toilet and poop them out. I'll keep an eye out for the guards.
We can't stop 14-year-olds vaping in classrooms. What hope do we have of stopping 5,000 hardened criminals, many of whom are experts at smuggling drugs?
That's funny.
He's a mule.
They've worked out how to game the system over Reese. They call it T-bacco. All you need is a nicotine lozenge and some Earl Grey. They all know how to do this, so it's not like I'm letting the cat out of the bag here. You crush the lozenge, mix it with tea leaves and wrap in the usually very thin paper in the Bible you have obtained from your prison ministry.
Very MacGyver.
Prison bosses know the women at Bandyup will have started stockpiling smokes the second they saw Thursday's newspaper, so they're now restricting how much tobacco is sold.
So light.
A 25-gram pouch of White Ox, that's the cheapest tobacco going around, which is why it's sold inside, costs about $65. Now, the most a prisoner can earn each week is only $10 more than that, and the most your friends and relatives can deposit into your spend account is $200. So a pouch of tobacco is a lot of discretionary income.
From now on, I'm going to pay for your tobacco.
Prisoners across the state spend $10 million a year on smokes. It accounts for half of all canteen sales.
Yeah, well, they're going to feel better for quitting.
Yeah, they will. But the public health issue is a byproduct, like it was when we stopped people smoking in pubs. This change is primarily aimed at making sure we comply with the Work Health and Safety Act, because it's only a matter of time before a prison officer sues the government for an unsafe workplace. And although second-hand smoke is one of the lesser evils when you work in a jail.
Hello, sir. What brings you to the fence today?
Just here to stab you if you get too close.
What does the union say?
They support it, not just because they're sick of this.
A group of inmates lit multiple fires.
They've been lobbying for this for years because White Ox rollies aren't the only things prisoners use their cigarette lighters on. WA Prison Officers Union Secretary Andy Smith should be celebrating this win, but he's preoccupied with trying to work out whether he is in fact the Secretary of the WA Prison Officers Union. Turns out that Andy was late in submitting some crucial paperwork, and there are questions about whether he is in fact an officer of the Officers Union because elections haven't been held within the 4-year limit.
Okay, so why was he late?
He says he was busy.
Busy talking to journos.
Yes, and also dealing with COVID and riots.
Well, I'm not surprised to see Andy Smith, the Secretary of the Union, regularly in the media making his commentary because, of course, this is a difficult period of time for him. What I was a bit surprised to find was that he wasn't the Secretary of the Union.
The reason we know about the union's dirty laundry is because Bill Johnson used Wednesday's question time to air it.
But what we don't need is a union secretary who is not elected, going to the media, criticising his comrades.
Andy has been a gigantic pain in Bill's arse over the past few weeks and months, and the minister has had enough.
And stop frustrating the opportunity for the members to have a say.
That old shoot the messenger tactic.
Well, there's a bit of that. Nonetheless, Johnson has made a valid point. but it was an unusual spectacle seeing a former State Secretary of the Australian Labor Party selling out one of his comrades by bagging him for selling out one of his comrades. But Johnson's not the first Labor Polly to drop the workers of the world unite rhetoric when they have to pay for another expensive habit: overtime. I'm Ben Harvey. For more Up Late, click the subscribe button below.